Good morning. I hope you're doing well and welcome to today's edition of 600 Seconds of Trading, which is our daily market update here at TradeCaptain.com. And my name is Alejandro Zambrano, Chief Market Analyst with, sorry, I could hear my own feedback, so we should be okay now. And again, I wanted to welcome you guys to today's market update. We're going to take a look at things like the euro, Bitcoin, DAX, crude oil, and talk a little bit in general what's going on in the markets. Before we start though, as always, I need to stress the trading financial markets unfortunately is risky, and there's a risk that we lose all of our invested money. So please bear that in mind before you start trading. Okay, if you want to use the chat box, then you just need to be logged in on YouTube, like Antonio here. Good morning to you, Antonio. Thanks so much for joining us. And yeah, you can say hello, maybe ask any questions about any markets we're covering here. It's always nice to have people in the chat box. Okay, let's get going, and let me just load the charts. So sort of the biggest news over the last 24 hours is really cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin moving to the upside. We did talk about it yesterday, about the fact that Bitcoin, the markets, this is Bitcoin by the way, 4-hour chart, that the market has stabilized above its February low, and that volatility had declined, and that we had some breaks in NEO, EOS already yesterday, and actually in the beginning of the week the market was starting to move to the upside. Myself, I bought some Ethereum, and yesterday when we saw this move here, I bought more. So I bought Ethereum on Monday already, and then with Bitcoin breaking the upside now, I decided to get involved in other coins like Ripple and Litecoin, because when you're looking at all these markets, you're looking for synchronized breaks. So again, some markets started to move early on, and it's always like that. You don't want to be necessarily buying the first, because then you don't know if the trend has ended or not. But then when more and more of these markets start to break the trends, then most likely it's easier, not easier, but it's more safe to sort of get on board. So Bitcoin took out that high, which was a trend defining high. So below this level, it made perfect sense to be bearish, but now the market took out that trend defining high, and now the trend is bullish above this level down here. And sort of the original idea was that if we break the upside, this could hit higher. From a risk reward ratio perspective, right now traders that are all long are risking about 15%, looking to potentially make 20, maybe even a little bit more. Now I'm not sure, is this the multi-year low that's gonna take price up to 20 grand again? I don't think so. Could be so, but I think it's gonna be probably up, and then probably down, and then probably up again, and then we'll see if price wants to stick out the February high. I don't think we should get too excited. Trading is not that easy, and a lot of people are finding that out, that trading is not as easy, because last year you just buy anything and it would just go up in the crypto space. So I have a lot of gurus online there that haven't been trading for more than 12 months, and obviously it's good if they're excited, because if they're excited the market goes to the upside, if the market excited, that is. But I wouldn't be too excited. Now going forward, again, this is the breakout level. The market could easily test that level, because at the end of the day we do still have some sort of negative bias to this. So I think the market could easily go down, break out, maybe 50% correction, and I think from the 50% correction or so, traders will probably kind of start to get involved. I derive these levels by looking at the low, and I pull the fib already all the way to the high, and as long as you're above 63, which is this level here, I'm gonna be bullish, and I think we can go up to the next high and then probably take this out and move to the upside. So risk reward entries are down here. This is where I think it makes sense to get involved. Here is everyone's favorite, if you're trading forex, that is. This is the world's most popular currency pair, euro versus the USD. Market here though right now hasn't been that interesting to trade, because it's trading sideways. As you might remember, we did do some looked at this short-term charts here at one point in February and March, but after that the whole market sort of started to, it was very evident that we're trading sideways. and when that happens, it's not a good idea to trust all the short-term levels. You could easily get stopped out, and it's really important to take a break and trade something else. So here, the only thing that is really interesting for the market is this low. This low is important for the market because you can see we bounced 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times from pretty much this level. So above 121.55, I think the market, if it goes down, I think traders will probably try to buy, and then I'm going to try to lift price to 124.77. Take that out, we can probably go to 125.58, and then probably to the moon. Not really, but 128, I think it makes sense. The alternative, you just take out the low and the market trades the downside. So this is a little bit like a wine that's supposed to be aged. You just need to wait for this to sort of consolidate further, and then it's gonna break, and it's gonna be awesome when we take out the high or the low. Okay, here's crude oil. And crude oil, it has some good setups here. The idea was to go along here, and before that we said, break to the upside takes you up, and then we're trying to buy here, got stopped out on that small move, and then the market moved down and moved to the upside. Key here is not just to be right. Being right is actually not really that important. If you're right 50% of the time, but when you're right you win big, and when you lose relatively small, then you're ahead. That's why I am ahead in my own trading. It's just that, and then working with these setups in a systematic way. So looking at this chart, this is a daily chart, but now we're looking at a 4-hour, and the last low is down here, 61.71. Trend is bullish above that level. We wanted to buy down here, so we're not going to be buying up here. I want to see a 50% correction, and then looking to get involved. The alternative, the market just trade sideways here for some time, and maybe next week or so look to go long. There is, of course, different ways of dealing with the market. Some people saw the big break on the daily and they just went long and they put a stop loss here. Why? Because the market, I think, could head higher, but again, risk reward ratio for my sort of trading is not ideal. Overall, it's a bullish market. Overall, I want to buy, just want to be picky when I'm buying, and I want to be, if I'm going to buy, I'm going to buy 64.64 with an initial stop loss down here, because I think the market bottom out here, head to the upside. Here's gold. It's playing games with people. There's a bit of a bullish bias above 1,319, and the market could potentially head to the upside here, especially if we take out 1,365. It's possible to buy these dips. There's a setup by my colleague Yuri, and Yuri posted this gold outlook. And when gold was trading at 13.49, he said that pretty much down here traders could potentially buy with stops here. And why should you pay attention to Yuri then? Well, because Yuri in the past told us to buy at 1,333. He said at least that's where I think the market would look to buy. And he said trading above this level, this market could head to the upside, which actually did. It did go down and then up, in line with pretty much what he was saying, and now this is just the continuation here of that. You see it went down and then up, alright, and then he says now down and up again. You can read more about it, click on technical analysis. In fact, you're going to find a lot of setups here, and fun stuff as well that I covered that I don't talk about in the webinars. Let me see here, let's go back to the charts. Here's the DAX 30. DAX 30, look at this one, break into the upside. So this is the buy signal we're getting now. Why? Because we're clearly climbing and taking out this March high. Germans are finally going long, and I think this could go initially to 12,600, then probably down again, and then probably up again to 13,133. German economy is doing good. We all know though that the euro is quite strong, and obviously that's a bit of an issue, but things are still bullish, so there's no real reason to not be bullish here, right? What do you need to bear in mind? Well, I think if I just go to the BBC, you're gonna know exactly what's going on. I talked about it yesterday and the day before. risk of military action in Syria, and Russia warns of war over Syria strike. Yeah, you can see yourself. This is an issue, of course, and could easily be a situation here where you can see the market fall off and gap lower Monday morning if something happens over the weekend, which obviously wouldn't be that surprising. So you need to be mindful here with this sort of position sizes you're dealing with. Okay, good. Do you guys have any questions? Feel free to ask. Otherwise, we're gonna wrap things up. Let's as well just quickly take a look at the calendar. I don't follow the news too much as I used to do, just because macro fundamentals are not really working. In fact, I haven't been following the news properly for the last 6 months, I think. Just working with breakouts and market correlations, that's it. In regards to the calendar today, JOLTS, Consumer Price Index, things to watch, but none of these are gonna break the trend in the euro dollar. Okay, no questions. Antonio, thank you so much for joining me, and as well everybody else that is watching. Don't forget to click. You click on it, the video, and you can subscribe by clicking down here. If you want like a notification, you click here. And as well, if you're watching, don't forget to smash that like button. I would really appreciate that. I already told you several times why. And so yes, if you like it, click on it. If you don't like it, okay, don't click on it. And if nobody clicks on it, then I know that I probably should be doing something else with my time. So click on it. Guys, have a great weekend and happy trading. And just stick with your strategies if they're good, of course. If you're having issues, do your back test. Stick with the system, analyze it. It's very difficult trading sometimes, but sometimes it's extremely easy as well. As an example, I was talking about the cryptos, bought a ton of that, sold some dollar CAD, book profits on that yesterday, and it's a little bit weird, especially if you follow the trend the way I do. If you follow the trend the way I do, you're gonna have loss, 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 gain, loss, and then you're gonna have a month where it's literally most of the returns that you can accumulate in a year, and then it goes back again. Especially if you're trading slightly longer term trades, there's the systematic way as well. Trade short term every day. That's definitely possible, and a lot of the stuff that we do here is short term in nature, and you can use that information. You just need to stick with the system and put on trades all the time if you want to follow that. The different approach. The key is knowledge, and the key to stress in trading is knowledge. It's information wars. It's about having a good system, developing the system, innovating, and doing that all the time just because other people are doing it. So things do change, and if you're not willing to do so, what you need to do is to work on the sort of mental side. Be able to buy a breakout even though it feels uncomfortable. Be able to book losses when that is happening, and so on and so on. It's usually sort of those are the sticking points for a lot of people as well. And the only way, not the only way, but the one way I noticed to help me is to study, research, learn from people like myself, emulate the trading style, see if it actually works, and from there it usually just goes upwards, but it takes a little bit of time. Okay guys, have a great day, great weekend, and I'll see you guys on Monday morning at 9 AM London time here at tradercaptain.com. Thanks.